defining a process and then following it is a debatable question, especially in software. Today there is a tendency, especially in software engineering, to reject the process models. I feel anybody who has developed a process model would have done that with some intention. Without understanding the intention, rejecting something is not correct. Don't reject, especially in software engineering, various methodologies. Don't reject it. In the rush to defend fast development process, don't reject traditional development methodologies, because there will be some reason behind it. And we who are from this country should not do this. We have never rejected anything. Have we rejected? India has always opened the door to everyone. Whatever ideas, whatever extremities, we have tolerated. We should learn. Software engineers coming out here should have this mentality. Don't reject. And Indians, as Indians, you should know that we follow processes everywhere. You take anything in Indian lifestyle, everything has a process. We add whatever trivial activity. Very big process. You don't go somewhere, stand in queue, take food and eat. Adalla. Define the process. Sit down, talk. What should be served first? What next? What next? Bharat think that scientifically they have done all things. First drink some water. Why? Clear up pass. Then start eating very slowly. First tuppa put agar ghee some. Why? Because that has to give that after wetness that lower part has to be clear, carry. Then start, then peak, then climax. Just we to beat or the last superstar, they will come later. Build up it. Build up the climax, saturation. There is a defined process. People have thought very clearly on how should things happen. For you take anything, there is a process defined. Scientific, if you may call it, like a process. Likewise, in software engineering, I feel there is a process defined. Don't reject it. Learn as much as possible. Let us adopt. Why should we reject? In this world, there is place for everyone and every philosophy. Let us accept as much as possible. False, whenever I define this model of false, that there is someone who is interested in doing something. People join hands. They will all do something. If I look at this process, I somehow feel that at the end of the day, false process is the truest implementation of democratic working style. Democratic governance structure and false working structure. Please compare. Please compare. You will see that it's same. How does a democratic governance should work? How should it work? The position for ruling is open to everyone. Anybody interested can run for any post. First, are you interested in doing something? Please come take over. Even here it is said. Then next, that everybody can run to a post is defined, but then these people who are elected through a process will stand there and make decisions. Even in first, who is interested will take over a project. Now they become leaders. Here politicians become leaders. Here developers become leaders. Here they make rules. Here they write code. Same. After they make law here, the general public has the right to comment upon it and suggest changes. Even in FOSS, the code which they write, the general public can see and comment. If good thing comes, here it is committed to the code base. If good amendments come, the changes are done in the law. Same. Ditto, same. So, I am forwarding this idea, just throwing this idea to you. Please think whether fast development process is the most idealistic implementation of democratic form of governance. Maybe yes. If you think, probably you will find more similarity. Well, with this in mind, let me now go to the first point which I wanted to discuss in the class, that of Roy Fielding, as I was telling you in the previous class. Roy Fielding initially studied Apache. He had an advantage in studying Apache because he was a board member in Apache. He studied Apache development process and then came up with certain hypotheses. 7 hypotheses to be very clear, to be precise, which he thought is the key for success in Apache. After he did that, he went on to study the Mozilla Firefox. And whatever hypothesis he made here, he tried to compare it there and trying to see whether it works there also. For his utter surprise, he found whatever hypothesis he had written for Apache works for Firefox. Therefore, he concluded that there are 7 hypotheses earlier. It is still hypothesis because we can't take it as the truth. There are many things to be. If you have to take anything as a theorem in mathematics, it's a long process. Similarly, in software engineering, let us assume that these are hypotheses. 7 hypotheses on how development process happens, generally in FOSS, specifically in Apache and Mozilla. What are those 7 hypotheses? First hypothesis: the core development size in a FOSS project should be 10 to 15. Now, it needs explanation. What is core? Project organization in FOSS, though it appears to be very chaotic, is actually very much organized. Earlier we saw that Eric Raymond said anybody who is interested will be the leader. Correct. He will be the initiator, he will be the leader. What happens tomorrow? More people will come in. They will become stakeholders. Then managing the project will become difficult. Therefore, you need a project management structure. What will that be is the question. Compare again this with democratic working. In a small village, there can be a sarpanch who can do everything. Later, all the stakeholders will ask, no, you can't be. They say, this is kind of monarchy. We can't accept your rule. Please have some kind of government. Then they will establish Gram Panchayat. Then there will be Taluk, then Jilla Panchayat, then state government, then central government. Hierarchy of governance structure will emerge. Similarly, in FOSS they will emerge because more people will come now. So it will happen over time. It does not happen. It will not be handed over from the leader. It gradually grows. Today we understand that it grows like this. At the heart will be some people whose main job is to see this overall project. They are called as core developers. They are at the heart of the development process. What Roy Fielding and his friends are saying is, this core team, which is the complete controlling kind of authority, should not have more than 10 to 15 people. Eric Raymond said that more heads are better than one. How much more? They are fixing a number here, 10 to 15. Let this be the core size, core team size, okay? What will that core team do? They will coordinate. Of course, there will be developers, but their main job is coordinating. The coordinating team, coordinating core team should have 10 to 15 members. Hypothesis number 1. Hypothesis number 2. What will happen if the core size grows more than this? Sometimes it so happens because of many reasons. You may have to accommodate more than 50 people. Then what? Then Roy Fielding says, if the team size grows more than 15, then have strict code ownership procedures. What is code ownership? See, in the community, when the project starts, this is one important question. One person will start something, he will write his part of the code. 4 people will come, they will also contribute the code. To whom does this code belong to? One person started the project, 4 people came, they contributed. This whole product is now emerging. Who is the owner of that code? Tomorrow, when the product becomes successful, there will be questions asked. The leader can't take that, I started the project, so this entire thing belongs to me. He can't say that. Then others will say, what about our contribution? This will arise. In the commercial companies, they have negotiated this by saying, if you are an employee of a company, whatever you are working is ours. Part of our contract, they will make you sign the contract when you join. Saying that whatever work you do, the IPR belongs to the company, not to you. They have negotiated it like that. How do we negotiate? There are many ways of negotiating. Probably in my later classes I will speak on governance. For now it is sufficient to understand that if the core team size grows more than 50, then it will be better if you divide the project and give code ownership. That is, go for modular leadership structure. Add one more level of hierarchy. In a project, identify module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4, module 20. Each person in the core team is responsible for a module. Do that. If the team size, core team size grows more than 50, go for modular structure. Have strict code ownership principles. Hypothesis number 2. Hypothesis number 3. In any project, if you see, there will be 3 kinds of people, 3 groups of people. One, core developers. Above them will be people who will have the right to fix the bugs. Above them will be people who will be reporting the bugs. So it is layered structure. Core developers, bug correctors, bug reporters. What Roy Fielding is saying now is, the number of bug reporters will be more than number of bug correctors will be more than number of core developers. That means 15 to 20 core developers, bug correctors in a magnitude more than this, bug reporters more than this. This is considered to be evidence for what Eric Raymond called as Linus law. He made law there. Now we are finding the evidence in Roy Fielding's work. This is hypothesis number 3, very clear ones. Hypothesis number 4. What happens if this scenario is reversed? Ideally, more bug reporters should be there, less number of bug correctors, less number of developers. This is the ideal scenario. What happens if the scenario is reversed? That is, what if there are no critical bug reporters? If bug reporters are less than the developers, then what will happen is a question answered. Hypothesis number 4 is, if the number of developers are more than bug reporters, then the product will have more functionalities, but it will have more bugs. Obvious. This is one of the things they learned. This was 4. I don't think this needs explanation. The 5th hypothesis is that developers of your project will always be the users of your product. So, that is, developers will also be users. Something which Eric Raymond also found. That was the 5th hypothesis. 6th hypothesis was, they found, Roy Fielding and others found, that in the particular domain which they were working, that is Apache Web Server and the Mozilla Firefox, they have less defect density than their counterparts. Less defect density means can claim that they are highly efficient. My caution is you should not generalize this. Many people generalize this hypothesis, saying that fast products are efficient than their counterparts. I don't want to make it, because this is a very specific hypothesis. In that context, when they compared Apache Web Server with other available server, at that time, you should understand, this paper was written in 2000. At that time, they found Apache Web Server has less effect density. How we want to interpret it? Left. That is the sixth hypothesis. Seventh and the last hypothesis was these two projects, they respond to changes much faster than their counterparts. How did they calculate this? Go to the defect database. When was the defect raised? When was the flag raised? When was the question? What is the time required between when was the bug detected and when was it fixed? So the seventh hypothesis. Again, this should not be generalized. This should be taken into context. Now please see that this is actually what is there in the Agile Manifesto. Responding quickly to customers' problem is one of the items in Agile Manifesto. Now they have found it here. So that's why I am saying, you make one list. It will be much better if somebody takes the trouble of writing all this, like what I did for Unit 3, one-page kind of summary screenshot. If somebody takes the trouble of doing it for every unit, it will be better. Because all of you may have failed that there is too much to read in this course. Too much to read. So some of you may take the trouble of writing this one-page summary of each unit. So for this unit, the summary could be Agile Manifesto, 4 points. Eric Raymond's lesson, 18 points. This Roy Fielding's lessons from Apache and Mozilla, 7 hypotheses. Tomorrow we'll see GNOME, 7 hypotheses. And its previous one page can easily fit so that it is easy for you to sit and think. Otherwise, scanning through this mammoth material which is available will be very difficult, especially during examination. Right? So let us conclude this class. In summary, what I want to convey to you is that if you are expecting that in this we are coming out with a process model which resembles waterfall as it is called as, or spiral, you are mistaken. I am not giving you a model, a very clear-cut model. We are just identifying certain strands of development which you can see. I feel in a nutshell, the lesson is, in free and open source software, there is no possibility of finding this unifying development theory. How each project came up, I want all of you to combine whatever I said in my earlier class about Apache, about Firefox, see the context in which they came up, and then see why they developed in this way. Probably then you will get the complete picture. Apache started with NCSA server, some product which was already existing, continued. Mozilla Firefox wanted to respond to a market situation where they were fast losing the market. You have to see the complete story.